It's the third day of summer, and the beach is now officially open.
Y'all ready for this?
Ladies and gentlemen, this is big time volleyball. This is the AVP!
Ready for this.
Chicago, home of the Bulls, the Cubs, the Blackhawks, and today, AVP Pro Beach Volleyball. Yes, the tickets are hot for first day coverage of the $100,000 Miller Lite Open. Yes, it's the AVP on NBC, and I'm told that the game ball is in very good hands. All right, let's play ball, everybody. Chris Marlowe along with Paul Sunderland. Terrific news on the Olympic volleyball front. It now appears that AVP beach volleyball players will be representing America in the Olympic Games. Explain.
Well, at least this part of the controversy is over. The AVP players, although begrudgingly, have agreed to participate in what they think is an unfair qualification process. But they're going to suck it up and do it anyway. And the AVP guys, recognized worldwide as the best beach volleyball players in the world, you can mark it down. They're going to be there in Atlanta.
All right, Karch Karai missed last week's tournament because of a sore back. A lot of people thought he couldn't play this week, but lo and behold, old Pinky had showed up, and he's looking great.
You do not keep the greatest player in the world, maybe of all time, down for very long. Tweaked his back, little ice, little massage, little therapy, and they're out here once again. He, along with Scott Akatubby, are the favorites.
There has already been one huge upset. Mike Dodd and Mike Whitmarsh, the #1 seeded team, lost to Dane Blanton and Ian Clark. What an upset.
Well, you can't downplay that. I mean, Ian Clark and Dane Blanton are good volleyball players, but Dodd and Whitmarsh have been the most consistent team throughout the course of the summer, and they go down early, and it's 100 degrees out here. It can be very hard for them to work themselves back up into the contention.
All right, we have a very good quarterfinal for you. Ricky Luyties and Eric Fonoimoana, the old Ripple team, you'll see what I mean in a moment, going up against Brian Lewis and Bill Beef Boulliane.
Well, first of all, Luyties and Fonoimoana, as soon as you see them, you'll know that Chris Marlowe and I have no genetic attachment to them whatsoever. You'll know what I mean when you see them. Both very big and physical, but can play the game of volleyball. But they've been inconsistent. Sometimes, you know, in the winner's circle or near it, other times down 17th, 13th. They can do it, however. But Brian Lewis and Bill Boulliane, the opposition, they've been right up there every week. Top 7 finishes time after time after time after time. Bill Boulliane at 6'4" is a smaller player. They're in the blue hat. He's got to block some volleyballs, and Brian Lewis, flat out, is the most dangerous server on the beach. That's the way they got to score. And at 100 degrees and double elimination tournament, quarterfinal action, the winner moves on. The loser better forget it.
The backdrop of Chicago, Illinois, and yes, we are live. Our first day. We'll have final championship action for you tomorrow. And what a sight this is. 30, 40, 50,000 people, sometimes estimated, not only on this court, but a reminder that other action on other courts, quarterfinal and contenders bracket, going on as we speak. So here we go. Brian Lewis to serve it up first. White hat, blue shirt. And his first serve is into the bottom of the net. So there's Brian Lewis. The Brian hat, little man of beach volleyball, 6'1", 185, dynamic player. His partner, Bill Boulliane, 6'4", 200 pounds. Set the other team in a minute. Here comes Boulliane. And Boulliane puts it away. Let's set up the other team for you. Eric Fonoimoana and Ricky Luyties. A new team this year. There is Fonoimoana out of Southern California and Hermosa Beach, having a very good season. Had his best season last year when he won at Baltimore. And he's playing with one of the all-time greats, Ricky Luyties, in terms indoor and out. No score, 1 game to 15. Here comes Fonoy.
That's a very good sign early. Bill Boulliane blocking Ricky Luyties. Luyties about 6'5", 6'6", All-American many times over out of UCLA, a gold medalist, of course, in the Seoul Olympics. And Boulliane, not one of the more feared blockers, but if he can get going, that'll certainly help Lewis and Boulliane.
Luyties in the white tank top, and he smokes it cross court. Luyties, born in Pacific Palisades, California, went to UCLA.
Ricky Luyties can jump, hit hard, and has lots of range. One of the few players in the world of beach volleyball to win titles on both the left and the right side. Very versatile player.
Lewis going on 2, and he hits it out of bounds, and we're tied. No, check that. 2-0. Fonoy and Luyties getting out ahead. Fonoy at the net, Luyties from behind. Well, let's check that out. The scoreboard.
Yeah, the stadium scoreboard was wrong. We're tied at 1 point apiece. You have the stuff block from Boulliane on Luyties, and then the unforced error from Brian Lewis to tie it at 1 apiece.
Well, that's what I thought.
It's hot out here. The guy running the scoreboard, you know, he's fading.
Here is Brian Lewis, 27 years old, out of Corona Del Mar, California.
Yeah, go.
Fonoimoana hounds it. Fonoimoana won $82,000 last year.
But if this team can get consistent, they will be right at the top every week, but they just have, you know, at the worst time, an error pop up that has really hurt them this season.
1-1 is our score.
No, line,
It's Lewis, and Lewis dug up by Fonoy. Boulliane got it.
Boy, a lot of crabbing going on. Fonoimoana chasing as hard as he possibly can. Every match is important, but these players know this weekend you got to make plays like that. Keep the ball in play, get a point scoring opportunity. Over 100 degrees down on the court. In this tournament, you play match after match after match. If you win, you play the fewest possible games. If you lose, you got to go down into the contenders bracket. And it is a grind.
Nice block by Boulliane. Chance for a point. He gets it over the net, and it goes down.
Just a brain cramp by Fonoimoana. You could tell very early on off that spinning play, that ball was coming back over to Fonoimoana and Luyties. Fonoy should have been all over that.
2 serving 1. Boulliane will block all the time for his team. And Luyties cuts it inside.
People serve Ricky Luyties because, you know, he's a setter most of his career in college. Didn't pass the ball all that well. Maybe that's one way to get after him, but you got to serve him tough. As I mentioned, both Fonoimoana and Luyties, extremely well-rounded players. Every skill out there necessary, they got it.
Luyties whacks it out of bounds, so give the ball to Lewis and Boulliane. Brian Lewis will serve it up. He's been bothered by injuries. Last year on Mother's Day, he wrecked his knee in Dallas. He landed on a railroad spike, missed 8 tournaments, came back at Manhattan and finished second. You might remember that tournament played here on NBC.
No.
When he is on and when his partner is on, they tell us serving is the key to our game. If we have our serve on, we can run through any team, and they're right.
And one of the things he said the key was, he says, look, the better Bill Boulliane serves, the better I serve, because if he goes back and he's just lollipopping him in and missing his serve, I have to be more conservative. If Boulliane's bombing him, then I'll really get after it.
Good block by Luyties for a point.
There was a time when Ricky Luyties was playing with Adam Johnson. When they won Milwaukee, they won Cleveland, they won the U.S. championships at Hermosa, that Luyties looked like he was going to emerge as one of the dominating blockers on the beach. He's physically capable of doing that. He just got to get it in his head that he can go out on the court and dominate.
Eric Fonoimoana with the serve. It's 2-2. And that ball is out of bounds, and now it is 3-2. So our first side change coming up. 6:45 to go in the game. Fonoy and Luyties lead it 3-2. You're watching the AVP on NBC. Back at the Miller Lite Open here in Chicago on court 2, just down the way. Scott Akatabi, Karch Karai leading Troy Tanner and Wes Welch 11-7. A comfortable lead at the moment. And we will keep you updated on that score. Back on center court, 6:41 to go, 3-2. Fonoimoana and Luyties have the lead. We should tell you that Dane Blanton and Ian Clark after knocking off Mike Dodd and Mike Whitmarsh, lost to Brent Frohoff and Rob Heiger. Frohoff and Heiger advancing into the semifinals.
They'll meet the winner of this match at the bottom of the bracket. The winner of Tanner Welch-Kirai Akatubby will meet the winner of Johnson Loyola. A couple of good semifinals.
Of course, Johnson and Loyola playing against Hovland and Anginho in one of the quarterfinals. So here is Bill Boulliane, 3-3 tie. A couple points scored. Boulliane, a big, strong kid out of San Diego State. And he misses his serve. Serving so important in beach volleyball as Ricky Luyties sets to put it in play. Career wins 7. He's won 3 of those with Adam Johnson.
Boulliane with a late move to that ball. He just didn't react.
Should be a point here. Luyties coming in to take the lead.
Oh, he hit it out.
And he missed it.
2 balls in a row. Ricky Luyties is hit out of bounds. And one of the strengths of Fonoimoana and Luyties as a team is that they both set the ball exceptionally well. Nothing wrong here. Maybe a little bit inside. But that's for a point. Ricky's got to find a way to find at least 1 grain to sand.
Brian Lewis serving at 3-3. Luyties with the drive. No block.
Can you explain that choice to bail out of there? I don't see it. Bill Boulliane, you know, he never looked like he was serious about blocking. If you're going to fake block, you get up there, you make noise, you kick sand around, and then you drop off at the last second. That was not the way it's supposed to be done.
Here comes Boulliane, and Fonoy digs it up. Chance for a point. No! Give Boulliane the blocks.
2 transition opportunities, one from Luyties, this one by Fonoy that they could not get down for a point. Look at Luyties, he's backing away. You got to come more behind your hitter, get into a good cover and help situation, anticipate that ball will be blocked.
Luyties pounding it straight through. Ricky Luyties, the former NCAA Player of the Year twice at UCLA. The latest inductee into the UCLA Volleyball Hall of Fame. First man to win that honor. Even Karch didn't do that. Here comes Boulliane, and Boulliane cuts it cross court. Boulliane has never won a tournament. The closest he's gotten is a second. He's got talent, kind of a late bloomer, coming on and getting with good partners the last couple of years.
Well, we were talking to Brian Lewis, you know, about playing with this guy. What was that like, and how was it at this situation? And then we said, can you win with Boulliane? He said, absolutely. He's planning on it. Another ball hit out of bounds, and these are the sorts of unforced errors that we were talking about, Chris, that have plagued Ricky Luyties and Eric Fonoimoana. They finish as high as a 3rd. They finish 17th in San Francisco. They got to manage their timeouts and gain some composure here, and they really hesitate just giving the ball to the opposition and making them work for it.
So far, Fonoy and Luyties leading in the dubious category, and a sand timeout taken by Fonoy and Luyties. So this is just one of 4 quarterfinals being played today, and of course, on the line throughout the season, Miller Lite awards players for excellence. It's called the Miller Lite Cup. Karch Kirai had the lead, but Mike Dodd and Mike Whitmarsh right behind, maybe the closest Miller Lite Cup we've ever had.
Well, they're coming on, especially since Kirai missed the tournament last week. $1 million overall. Adam Johnson having a very good season as well with Jose Loyola. Randy Stoklos up there as well.
Fonoimoana bounces one. Eric Fonoimoana, the youngest of 6 children. Interestingly, Fonoimoana, his entire family, parents and 5 siblings, all went to Miracosta High School. I asked him if that was good or bad. He said it was great because when I got there, everybody knew how to pronounce my last name. There's Boulliane, and Fonoy is right there. And he chops it inside.
3 transition opportunities. What I mean by transition is you make a defensive play and you convert. 3 opportunities for Fonoimoana and Luyties. This is the first one they've gotten to the sand. That's why we're tied at 4. Otherwise, they would have been able to forge a lead.
4-4 our score. There's Brian Lewis, and Louis pounds it.
Louis got heat. He may only be 6'1", never played big-time college volleyball. Was an outstanding athlete in high school, played 1 year at Orange Coast Community College. He was Junior College Player of the Year, and then said, to heck with this indoor stuff. You know, I like being out on the beach. And pursue this game. He's been out ever since, and a past champion here.
The tough serve of Boulliane creates another point. So both teams getting points and giving points.
This hasn't been that attractive so far. You know, that's a pretty good serve. But, you know, Luyties got to move his feet a little bit and make that pass.
And the serve is into the net.
Side out.
Score on the scoreboard is 4-4, but I believe that's wrong. I think Beef Louie has 5-4, and we're going to double check that for you.
Yeah, just been corrected.
Side out.
Off the block goes Boulliane, and here is Brian Lewis. You know, you're talking about the size of Brian Lewis. He gave me a great quote. He said, "I'm the underdog, and I'm always vertically challenged whenever I walk out."
I thought he said vertically impaired.
Luyties with the blast. Ricky Luyties. Best year 1991. He won 4 events.
This is what Ricky Luyties can do against Bill Boulliane, just crushing the ball straight to the sand. What he's got to do is work on his shots when he's in trouble. When the play is perfect, he's pretty devastating.
Boulliane thunders it through.
Good location by Brian Lewis. Not trying to set the ball perfectly. Just get it in an area where your partner can take a good swing and see the court. Set it high enough to give him lots of time to adjust.
Lewis will never block at the net. He positions in the backcourt, then Boulliane steps ahead. 5-4 our score. Luyties dink, and Louis can't get there.
Side out.
Brian Lewis trying to motor, but he's still bothered by some leg problems. You know, he injured that hamstring some time ago surfing. A big wave down in Baja crushed on him, and he tore his hamstring, and then injured an adductor muscle earlier in the season that has really slowed him down. Because he's one of the quickest players out here defensively, but not at 100%.
And interestingly, Brian Lewis told us he has not surfed since then. He has been on hiatus practicing his volleyball, and that's from a guy who owns 9 surfboards. So he's had to make a commitment to volleyball to get back in shape and be a factor on the AVP tour.
Redefining the ultimate sacrifice.
Garai update, they lead by 1 over Troy Tanner and West Welch, a team they have just thumped like a drum in the past. And Lewis is stuck by Fonoimoana. So the big block. Eric Fonoimoana. We are in a 5-5 tie. You are watching the AVP on NBC when we return. Live AVP Pro Beach Volleyball. Chris Marlowe and Paul Sunderland on main court. 5-5 tie with 5:07 to go in the game. Brian Lewis, Bill Boulliane, Eric Fonoimoana, and Ricky Luyties. And we expected this to be a very competitive quarterfinal. One of the reasons we're showing it.
Well, the number 4 and 5 seeds, they're closest to one another in the bracket in terms of power rating, so to speak. And the quarterfinal matches are so important, especially in these weather conditions. Again, it's double elimination. And if you win the quarter, you go to the semis and stay on the A train towards the finals. But if you lose, I'll tell you, you go right down into the black hole of the losers bracket and have to play so many more matches to work your way up that ladder.
So Eric Fonoimoana to put the ball in to play. Ace for Fonoy.
That was rapid fire, hubby wife. This one was deep, dirty, and real hard. I'm not sure that Lewis and Boulliane had any chance to react right there. They just the splitting of the Red Sea.
6 serving 5 now. Lewis over to Boulliane, and Boulliane putting it away.
Brian Lewis, the only player on tour that could set that ball. That ball was passed about 40 feet in the air, and he has got such strong hands and such courage to set that ball with his paws.
Mentioned that Bill Boulliane's nickname is Beef. His San Diego State teammate John Edo gave him the Beef nickname back when they were both Aztecs, and it has stuck. Fonoy chopping down the line, side out. 6-5. Fonoimoana Luyties have the lead. Been much more difficult this year to get the teams together in terms of name-wise. You're used to all those names being with each other, Johnson and Luyties, et cetera, et cetera. Been a lot of turmoil on the AVP Tour in terms of partnerships. Here comes Boulliane, and there it goes.
Well, that's nice tap down. You know, Bill Boulliane has come such a long way. I remember 3 or 4 years ago, went down to Capo Beach where Karch Kirai, Adam Johnson, a lot of the top players train, and he was not even among that group. He was sort of waiting to get in to the elite mix, and I was setting him some balls, and we were passing, playing a little pepper, and I go, God, this guy's pretty physical. He's got good shots, and I set him a ball, and he just about destroyed it. And here he is a couple of years later, most improved player. He has worked very hard on his game and has got good skills.
I believe that entire story, except for the fact that you gave him a good set.
Well, I was tossing it up to him, let's put it that way. I was setting him nectar, sweet, sweet nectar.
There's our first referee, Greg Krause. 6 serving 5. We have a final on the Karai quarterfinal, 13-10 on time. Akitabi Karai, and they move into the semifinal. So Frohoff and Heiger in, Karai and Akitabi in, and one more quarterfinal.
Adam Johnson and Loyola in also. Bill Boulliane bomb, and look at Brian Lewis set the ball. Trajectory is the same, location is the same. It takes a lot of pressure off Boulliane to really pass the ball perfectly.
Boulliane ace.
Luyties must have been fooled because he did not take a step. And no real factor right now of good side, bad side with the wind. It is pretty much dead calm out here, and Luyties just must have been fooled.
Serving starting to take effect. Here's Fonoy and Boulliane with the dig. 6-6 tie. Boulliane got it over. Luyties out of bounds. Was that on his second shot?
No. Luyties touched it on the block. Touch on the block counts on the beach, different from the rules indoors. Boulliane with a good dig, and he's going, Brian, just get me close, but not this close. There you see Ricky reaching over. Second contact by Fonoimoana. Third contact had to come, but it didn't have to go out of bounds.
32 teams starting off in this tournament, double elimination. Right now, Mike Dodd, Mike Whitmarsh on one of the outer courts, battling in the losers bracket against John Privich and Mike Schlegel. Going to be a long road back for that team, Dodd and Whitmarsh.
Well, if you stay in the winner's bracket all the way through, you play 6 games to win the championship. But if you do like Dodd and Whitmarsh, they've got to play like 11 games once you get down into the loser's bracket. And in these conditions, very, very hard physically to make it through that treacherous path.
Nice dig. Fonoy, tap down, score! And we're tied at 7.
7-7 the score.
Well, it's a tough play coming right at Lewis and Boulliane. The dig is made off the soft block, and it's spinning up, and Luyties just faking there. That Fonoimoana just trying to attract the attention of Lewis and Boulliane and fooled him. That ball shouldn't drop. That should be a free play for Lewis and Boulliane.
We told you about the ripple effect of Fonoy and Ricky. Both are built like weightlifters. Not an ounce of body fat on either gentleman. 2 of the finely conditioned players on tour. Fonoy, in fact, works out probably more than anybody else on tour. 4 to 5 hours a day, Monday through Thursday. And Luyties, an avid weightlifter, he's got some guns. Yeah, I don't know, is that an arm or a leg? That was a big piece of whatever that was there.
Like I said, you will never mistake either Luyties or Fonoimoana for Sunderland or Marlow.
7-7 is our score. 4:08 to go in the game. Quarterfinal action. Don't forget the final tomorrow. Live. And Fonoy prints it down the line.
Good chop off a pretty good jump serve, and the key for Fonoimoana and Luyties so far is to keep Boulliane and Lewis out of the ace column. Service aces, 1 for Bill Boulliane. We had that cross court against Ricky Luyties a few moments ago, but that's been it.
7-7. Boulliane. And Boulliane out of bounds. So ball out of bounds. 3:58 to go in the game. 8-7. Fonoy Luyties have the lead. We'll return to Chicago after these messages from your local stations. You're watching the AVP on NBC. Open in Chicago, $100,000 of prize money. Center court is jammed. Chris Marlowe and Paul Sunderland. First day coverage, quarterfinal action. Eric Fonoimoana, Ricky Luyties playing Brian Lewis and Bill Boulliane. Ball up. Chance for a point. And that ball going right out of bounds.
Side out.
It's kind of an interesting game. It's been close. There have been some errors. There have been some spectacular plays.
Well, as we were talking about during the commercial break, that there have been several mistakes, but it's like, you make one, I'll make one. You make one, I'll make another. And it's obviously been very, very close. But most of all, teams not taking advantage when they have chances to score.
Bill Boulliane set to serve. Here comes Fonoy, and he Moanas it down. So Eric Fonoimoana with the kill. In his spare time, he is the volleyball coach at Miracosta High School in Manhattan Beach, California. Had a good year this year, 20-1, and he's got everybody back next year. So Costa will be tough. One of the perennial high school volleyball powers out in California. 8-7 is our score. Boulliane, chance for a point.
Look at Lewis set
Great set. And Boulliane beats it. Fonoimoana.
Saying Brian Lewis the key to that play, and Boulliane huffing and puffing after a couple of long runs. High pass. Look how high Brian Lewis sets the ball to give his partner time to go from inline all the way back to the net and get in a good position to swing at the ball.
Lewis with the serve. Trailing by one. Tough chance there. That ball hit out of bounds. And it's 8-8. How close is this game? Well, we're tied at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and now 8. That's pretty close.
Good record keeping by you.
Thank you. And a 20-second timeout. You know, we mentioned that Brian Lewis had won here in 1993 with Randy Stoklos, and right now he is tied, trying to get back. This is the AVP on NBC. We'll be right back. After Brian Lewis won Chicago with Randy Stoklos in '93, he rode back to his hotel on Chicago Bears linebacker Mike Stonebreaker's Harley. He said that was the highlight. Former Notre Dame star. Said, how was that? He goes, that was a wild ride.
To serve, 8-8.
Keeping it on Ricky Luyties after he'd had some trouble hitting the ball out of bounds. Ricky's missed the court 4 times. So the smart thing to do is to keep the pressure on.
Fonoimoana with the serve. It's 8-8. And Boulliane snaps it through.
I'll tell you, showing a lot of respect for Brian Lewis. At 3-4 inches shorter than Bill Boulliane, Brian Lewis is not getting served at all. Right now, Boulliane, who puts the ball to the sand here, has been served 16 times. Brian Lewis only 5. Showing the vertically impaired player a lot of respect.
So Ricky Luyties will serve it up. He and Eric Fonoimoana getting together this season at Singer Island, Florida. Fonoy was playing with Dan Verbalovich. Luyties was playing with Tim Hovland before they teamed up.
Come on, Ricky!
Ricky with the dig. Chance to go ahead. Not yet. Lewis up in the air. Louis. And he puts it away. But he did put it away.
Ricky with a good chase, and Fonoy just runs out of room here, but the key was the high, accurate set by Bill Boulliane that allowed Brian Lewis to take a relatively effective swing.
Score remains 8-8. We're under 3 minutes to go in the game. Remember, the clock only runs when the ball's in play. Luyties trying to find his consistency, and he gets it down.
Luyties just got his 14th serve. His partner, Eric Fonoimoana, only been the target 8 times. You're serving the player. You think you can block, you can dig, you can wear him out, you can get into his head. So you go after more often.
Fonoy with the serve, and he's into the net. So Brian Lewis and Bill Boulliane seeded number 4 in this tournament. Eric Fonoimoana, Ricky Luyties, the number 5 seed. In case you didn't hear the news, Randy Stoklos not here this weekend. His mother's been ill. She's in hospital, but she's getting better. There's an ace for Boulliane, and we want to wish him the best and his mother Alice the best. Hoping to get Randy back on tour soon.
We expected aces from Brian Lewis. I mean, he's the top server on tour, but the two spaders, as we call them, in this match have come from Bill Boulliane, his partner, which should certainly free Brian Lewis up towards the end of this game.
Timeout called by Fonoimoana and Luyties. Brian Lewis, the 1993 champion. And speaking of serving, you know what's coming up on NBC. NBC Sports is going to present the 1995 Wimbledon preview special. Host Dick Enberg will whet your appetite for tennis's premier championship. Our coverage begins Saturday. That's a great event, and I love Dick Enberg doing it, and he's going to get a lot of help this year, isn't he, Paul? He's got analysts galore, men, women, the whole shebang. Lewis just blocked Ricky Luyties, and now it is 10-8.
I thought you said that Lewis never blocks.
I said only when he knows he's going to stuff one.
Okay.
If you listen to the end of the sentence. Chris Marlowe and Paul Sunderland, 2:47 to go. And Brian Lewis says, I'll stay up and I'll block a line. He's signaling one, Paul. Let's see what he does. To the serving.
Look at that. Really hurting Luyties and Fonoy. Yeah, I'll tell you why Brian Lewis is blocking. Because he wants Boulliane is on a roll serving. He doesn't want him to think about having to serve, land, and then sprint to the net. Just bomb your jump serve, stay back, and play defense.
Timeout, tick on the sand. Full timeout.
So Fonoimoana and Ricky Luyties trying to get their act together. They're having problems. They're in the shank tank. We'll come back to Chicago. You're watching the AVP on NBC. Lead over Brivich and Schlegel. So Brivich and Schlegel working on the #1 seeded team. Brian Lewis with 2 straight stuff blocks. And he has his team out in the lead. Now 12-8. 2 minutes and 40 seconds to go. And Beef Louie is rolling. Beef Louie, yes, is rolling. A beautiful serving contest this year, the Powerade serving contest. The winner, who has the most aces per game, gets $20,000. Brian Lewis, James Fellows, Adam Johnson, Loyola, Wes Welch.
$20,000 to the winners, $80,000 overall.
Another notch on the Powerade serving challenge.
And Boulliane might be moving up that list. I can't remember a match when he had 3 aces, especially playing with Brian Lewis, who is much heralded for his ability to serve the ball, as you saw on the Powerade Ace Award list.
13-8 is now our score as Boulliane chopped one right on the line. Fonoimoana and Luyties having all kinds of problems. They've given up 5 in a row. What do Fonoy and Ricky have to do to come back?
Ricky's got to block some balls. That'll get him going, his team going emotionally. Big dynamic play. Fonoy, Ricky have not served the ball particularly well. They could use an ace or two, certainly. But with the way Brian Lewis is setting the ball, I'd serve him for a while. Bill Boulliane is a good passer, not a great passer, but Louis just setting everything that he bumps up there perfectly. That is just a tough chance for Ricky Luyties. Bad toss, should have let it drop and reloaded.
2 minutes and 33 seconds to go. 13-8. Lewis and Boulliane lead. And on! Boulliane, Louis got it over. Comes up with a big one. If he doesn't block that, this game is over.
Absolutely. This was a chance for Boulliane and Lewis to go to match point. Good block there and just ping pong cover. And Boulliane's going, wait a minute, all I got to do is lob this over Fonoy's head, and couldn't get it done.
Fonoy serving, trailing by 5. Boulliane has played magnificently.
He's siding out beautifully. He's siding out beautifully. He's receiving serve. Not great, but well enough when you have a setter like Brian Lewis, and hitting high and hard. You think Brian's sets are a little better than mine?
His sets are terrific. 13 serving 8. Little floater. Fonoy, trouble. How about that for a set?
There, Ricky Luyties. There's no center line in beach volleyball. Ricky Luyties comes all the way under, hits Brian Lewis. If Brian Lewis would have taken a dive there, the official would have been forced to call interference. Incidental contact, yes, but Luyties came way under the net. And a lot of players, Randy Stoklos used to do that all the time. If Louis just would have taken a flop, they would have earned a point.
Serving is Luyties, down 13-8. Boulliane. There's one. Fonoimoana with a climber block. A one-arm block a la King Kong.
Brian Lewis has got to suck up closer underneath his hitter because he should see that set's too tight to the net. Boulliane just trying to poke you into the block. Lewis has got to get there on the cover.
Float serve.
Come on, Ricky.
And down the line goes Boulliane. Brent Frohoff and Rob Heiger have already advanced into the semifinals. They will play the winner of this one. Akitabi and Karai are in the semifinals, and they are going to go up against Adam Johnson and Jose Loyola. That match complete, a win, a 13-12 win over Anginho and Hovland. As we dip under 2 minutes, 13-9, still plenty of time for Luyties and Fonoimoana to mount a rally.
Only the 10th chance for Fonoimoana. They've really been working on Ricky Luyties. He's been served 19 times already, no doubt, who Boulliane and Lewis want to go after.
And a sand timeout taken by Beef Louis. 20 seconds, you're not allowed to leave the court, at least by the official rules. Mike Dodd, Mike Whitmarsh losing early, and that has opened up the upper bracket. And the bracket of Brent Frohoff and Rob Heiger, Boulliane, Lewis, etc.
And Alfredo Roberts joining us over here on the side. Come on out. Welcome, gentlemen, to AVP action.
Fonoimoana to serve, trailing by 4.
Short hop.
So you're suggesting serve Lewis?
I would say, yeah.
I agree. Boulliane's on a roll.
He's in a groove.
Hey, we said it.
And also, Lewis is setting the ball so perfectly that even if the pass is shaky, it becomes an easy side-out opportunity.
13 serving 9. They're working on Luyties. His passing has been a little erratic. I tell you, when Ricky passes the ball well, he's one of the best side-out players in beach volleyball. The problem he's had over the years, one concern, sometimes he can be erratic and get that shank tank.
Well, and it's happened in this game. He's hit 4 balls out of bounds, and that's exactly the difference on the scoreboard.
4-point lead, Beef Louis. And right through goes Beef. So Boulliane, who grew up in Palos Verdes, California,
continue to work on Bill Boulliane, and that's plenty good enough of a pass. And Brian Lewis, look at the trajectory, look at the location, and the distance from the net. As a hitter, you just love that sort of consistency.
4-point lead. Fonoimoana with the whack-up.
Don't know why right now that Boulliane and Lewis are going away from Luyties. Don't know why. Fonoimoana looks strong. I guess that's does not need any words to describe that, but he's passing well, and Luyties could always set the ball extremely well.
Fonoimoana with the serve, down by 4, 13-9, and he's into the net.
Down the top of that side out.
So Brian Lewis and Bill Boulliane in a great spot right now. Minute 32 to go. They lead by 4. The upper bracket is wide open here in Chicago because of the loss of the #1 seeded team, Dodd and Whitmarsh. Ricky got another one. So Luyties starting to
Your attention, please.
steady out.
This is the Chicago Police Department.
Uh-oh, Paul, get ready. We are looking for Paul Sunderland. Freeze.
And in Chicago's parks.
Regularly serving.
There are no animals, no dogs allowed.
Fonoimoana with the drive. And a point, 13-10.
Only in Pro Beach Volleyball we get an announcement. And no animals allowed on the beach. That means 2/3 of the people here better pack up and head home. A nice score that time by Fonoimoana and Luyties to cut it to 13-10.
I'll tell you, I thought, well, I'm not going to say that. We'll take time out. 13-10, minute 21 to go. This is not over. You're watching the AVP on NBC. watching the AVP on NBC.
Hey, 90 degrees. It's cooled off significantly since earlier in the day.
13-10 is our score. Luyties and Fonoimoana trying to come back. It was tied 8-8. It was a close game all the way until Beef Louie scored 5 unanswered to take a 13-8 lead.
I'll tell you, how flawless have Beef Louie been? Remember the ball that Brian Lewis hit out of bounds early? That's the only mistake they have made throughout the course of this game.
Lewis with the serve, bad pass. Fonoy runs it down. Collision at the net. And they're going to award a point.
See, Boulliane went down. Contact. He went and said, hey, I'm going to fall down here. It's just like drawing the charge.
Here's like here's a Tom Hanks job under the net.
Yeah, this is just drawing the charge. Boom. Boulliane thought about it. He went, hey, flop-a-roo, baby. I'm out of here, and we're going to match point.
As they say in boxing, stay down, stay down. Lewis, this could be it. Quarterfinal point. Luyties got it through. 14-10 with a minute and 5 seconds left to play.
A lifetime. A lifetime. They have yet to been able to come close, really, to acing Lewis and Boulliane.
I agree with you,
Fonoy had
Paul.
one up the middle.
They got to serve Lewis a little. Try him.
There it goes to him.
See what Louie can do. Louie off speed dink.
No shot side out. Under a minute now.
Well, Brian Lewis has played very, very well with his partner, Bill Boulliane. Lewis doing most of the setting, and Boulliane with a high kill ratio. Serving a floater, trying to run out the clock. We're under a minute. Fonoy. And this could be it. Boulliane. Yes!
That puts it away. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hand for Bill Boulliane.
Boulliane and Lewis.
After
After 8 ties, they break it open and win.